Welcome back. It's the next step in our decimals, percents, and fractions unit. So get these titles down. And we have percents and decimals lesson. This is 6RP3. Make sure you get your standard down. We're understanding ratio concepts and the ratio reasoning to solve problems. So it's an extension of our unit 2. And by the end of this, you should be able to convert between percents and decimals. I can convert between percents and decimals.
All right, so here's our first part. Go ahead and get this jotted down. Here's our rules for writing percents as decimals. Well, the second line is always straighter than the first one. So our rules are to write a percent as a decimal, we're going to divide by 100, and then we're going to get rid of the percent sign. So it's going to turn into a decimal instead of a percent. A good way of thinking dividing by 100 is, since there's two zeros, we're basically going to lose two decimal places. We're going to slide the decimal 2 spots to the left. So a good way to think of it is a decimal is always going to be smaller than the percent is. The percent's kind of a big number. The decimal is the smaller version of it. So let's try this first one together. 56%. Remember, where is the decimal in a whole number like 56? Hopefully you're saying it's at the end of our number. So 56 point, that's where a decimal goes. Our rule is we're going to move that decimal 2 spots to the left. So we're going to slide it 1, 2 spots. So our percent turns into 0.56. Or if you're lazier, if you just wrote 0.56, we'd probably give you credit for it. So just slide it 2 spots to the left.
Then you've got 305%, so there's nothing to worry about that. Remember, your decimal starts all the way to the right, and then we're going to move it 2 steps to the left, then rewrite it without the percent sign. So that would be 3.05.
Good reminder. I forgot we got to get rid of that percent sign there. Next one, 8%. So it doesn't matter that there's only one digit there. Decimal's still at the end of the number on the far right. Rule is move it 2 places to the left. So I'm going to slide it 1, 2 spots. Think about, what do I fill into that blank spot? Well, I got to kick in an extra 0 to fill in that placeholder. So 8% becomes 0.08. Last one.
1.7% can look kind of tricky, but if you kind of shut off that part of your brain that says start all the way to the right, just start where the decimal is, and you're going to move 2 to the left, and then you're going to need to annex that 0 because you need the placeholder there, and you're going to end up with 0.017 or 0.017.
All right, so we slid it 2 spots to the left. So the percent got smaller, it turned into a tiny little decimal. Why don't you start us off on this one, Mr. Romanovich?
So now we're going to be writing decimals as percents, and when we write them as percents, technically what we're doing is we're then multiplying them by 100. And all that really does is it manipulates the decimal to move it 2 spaces to the right. So when you see something like 0.38, we're going to multiply that by 100 in our heads, but really just move the decimal 2 spots to the right, then rewrite it as 38, and then add our percent sign.
Don't forget that part up there. Now that it's a percent, we add in that percent sign. So 0.2 or 2/10, as we practiced in one of the other videos. We move it 2 spots to the right because we're multiplying times 100. Remember, percent means out of 100. Add in our extra 0 to take up our spot, and that turns into 20%. Not 2%, 20%, because we've slid it over 2 spots. You know the next one.
Then we've got 1.45, or 1 45/100ths. We're going to do the same thing, move the decimal 2 spots to the right, and then we're going to have 145%, which is, of course, the effort all of you give on every single assessment we have.
Last one, 0.0092, so 92 10,000ths. So again, you just move it to the right 2 spots, 1, 2. That becomes 0.92%. So hopefully you did better than that on our last test, getting less than 1% on your test. 0.92%, that's a very small amount. So our 2 rules were to go from percent to decimal, we divide by 100. To go from decimals back up to percents, we multiply by 100.